Let's get on with the topic today. Today's topic is about, are you food bored? And I have to tell you, I get food bored sometimes myself. I can kind of go like, don't plan ahead, do the whole salad with chicken thing over and over again. I get really, tired of that kind of stuff. But before we get into the topic, really quickly, in case there's anybody new here, my name is Lita, and I am not a doctor, but I'm someone who has lost 55 pounds doing healthy keto. I love talking about keto. I love talking about the different ways that we can do keto, the different ways that we can heal our bodies naturally. But please know that I'm not a doctor, and please discuss anything new that you want to do with your doctor and before you make any changes. So don't just go by my word. These are just my opinions, and you have to do what's right for you. Okay, so are you food bored? So I thought of this topic because I was kind of going through a food bored stage. It was like, okay, I got a big salad in the fridge. I got the rotisserie chicken or the pre-cooked meat or whatever. And then, dress it up, throw in some cheese or something like that. And I'm like, boring. Just, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just get a little bit tired of that same old, same old. Sometimes I love stuff like that, but there's times where I just go, oh my goodness, like I've kind of lost that loving feeling when it comes to my keto stuff. Hi, Kelly. Who else is here? Linda. Hi. Hi, Ingrid. Good to see you guys. Yeah. And so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking like, when I get in that mode, well, first of all, tell me, do you guys ever get food bored? Tell me right now, do you guys get food bored? Do you ever kind of go, I don't even, you just kind of lost the will for the excitement of food, for trying new things, kind of makes you just not even excited about eating. Tell me if you guys go through that. And so I was kind of going through that little stage, and I thought, what do I typically do when I try to, get excited in the kitchen again? Yes, Kelly says she totally gets it. Christina too. Yeah. And so I was thinking about the different things that I have done in the past and what I wanted to do in that moment. Yes. Cynthia says she gets bored. Ingrid says yes, sometimes. Ingrid's actually very creative with her food, so that's probably not as much of an issue for her. Yes, that's my sister Lori. She gets bored too. And it's like, okay, so I want to tell you some of the things that I do, and I'm sure you do some of these things too, but it's always neat to get a little reminder of maybe some things that maybe you forgot. Lori says, don't always have time to look up recipes. Exactly. Kathy says, from time to time. So first of all, I know absolutely that we are supposed to eat to live and not live to eat. Okay. In a perfect world, I guess food wouldn't be maybe quite as enjoyable as it is for some of us, and we look at it just as sustenance to stay alive. But I don't think a lot of people feel that way. I think more people, do you know who I think thinks like that, honestly? The carnivores. I'm not kidding you. I tried carnivore for like 2 weeks or whatever, and I was like, I have literally lost the will to eat. I don't even want to eat anymore. It has absolutely no excitement at all. I would say the carnivores probably have that down pat, and if they can live that kind of a lifestyle, then they can probably do it. But I would say for the rest of the human race, we do enjoy our food, and there is nothing wrong with it. Using it for comfort, using it to de-stress, that's something that we definitely want to try to avoid, and we have to come up with other coping skills. But just for the happiness factor, just for the enjoyment factor, I think really enjoying our food, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if we're not enjoying and we're feeling like it's kind of boring, I feel like it can be a little bit of a slippery slope. I can tell you for myself, that's when I start not tracking. That's when I start eating right from the package and not really paying attention. Maybe some of you might eat out more. If you're getting a little bit bored eating what you're eating, you might veer off your keto plan a little more often because you're getting bored. Boring. So What can we do to get things spiced up? Okay, getting excited about new things, making our meals enticing, get those creative juices flowing. Okay, so these are some of the tips that I have. So the obvious one is looking through cookbooks. And I will say that if you're not the kind of person that buys a cookbook because maybe you like stuff to be free and you want to get your free recipes and stuff, which is nothing wrong with that, like online or whatever, there is something about having an actual cookbook. I meant to bring a couple down here for you, but I love touching paper. I will not buy like a cookbook that doesn't have pictures. Like, show me the pictures. I have to see what it looks like. So grabbing a cookbook that you have on the shelf or treating yourself. I mean, for goodness sakes, you can go to Costco and you can buy a cookbook for $12. You can go on Amazon and there's some real good ones for $9.95. Really great people that you probably do see on YouTube and things like that have their tried and true recipes in there. And it's so nice to have one of these books. And I will sit there when I'm watching TV or something. I kind of like to have a little something to flip through if I'm not watching anything like, I have to pay attention to too much. And I will look through and I'll have a little sticky pad. And when I see something that kind of strikes my fancy, I'm like, oh, and I'll look through and look at the ingredients and that one sounds like something I might want to try. And then I take my sticky and I put it on the page. And by the time the show is over, I've got about 6 things that I want to try. And then what I do is I go through those recipes and I write on another list what groceries that I would need that I don't have. Like, you have your typical, usually eggs and almond flour and that kind of a stuff. But like, say there was some kind of special ingredient that you wouldn't have, I would write that down on a separate list so that I could go out and get those groceries, kind of plan out those meals. Cookbooks, I just think are awesome. And also, if you've got kids at home or a husband that maybe is into this or whatever, sometimes I get the family to look at it. Like my husband especially loves the keto desserts. And I'll say, you pick something. Here's a book. I love all the recipes in this book. I love the author. Look through here and see what strikes your fancy. And then I'll get him to look through it. So sometimes we do that. Once in a while, he even makes something, surprisingly. So getting people involved, looking through the cookbooks, that really helps. In our own keto support group, we have a topic section. In case any of you guys don't know, there's a topic section, and that's where I keep our tried and true recipes. Like I'm saying, if somebody posts in the group and they say, oh my goodness, I tried this recipe, 10 out of 10, fantastic. They give the link or they give a screenshot. Everything is there that you need. I will pin that in topics, and then there's all the different topics. And you have to look, it's kind of weird, but they've got hashtags. This is a Facebook thing. I didn't create it, but I created like what the topics are. So like one is for breads, one is for pizza, one is for beef, etc. So you can look in our topic section and every single, these are not just randos. Okay. These are tried and true 10 out of 10 would make it again in a heartbeat recipes. So that is something good to check out if you haven't done that already. Obviously we have Pinterest, we've got YouTube. Now on YouTube, I wanted to mention I don't know if it's new or it's just new to me, but I don't know if it's a lady, I don't know if it's a man, I don't know who this miraculous person is, but it's called Keto Certs. So I'm going to spell it for you. KetoSerts. Keto Certs. Now I'm going to tell you, not only are these recipes absolutely fantastic and a little bit more on the simple, I mean, she, I'm not sure, has some complicated ones, but I would say generally speaking, they're a little bit more on the easier side, what I consider easier. Unbelievable, like background music. I call it keto meditation. I watched these cooking YouTube things, Keto Certs, and it's like this really nice, relaxing recipe. All the colors in the kitchen on the counter are very muted and soft. Everything is made slowly, yet it doesn't take a long time to get through the recipe. And bonus, the full recipe is right there in the description. You don't have to watch the whole video to get to it or click a link that takes them to the blog that goes through this big, long story, blah, blah, blah. Right there, like literally right there. I cannot say enough about this. I've made a couple of the recipes and they turn out fantastic. Like I literally have to reach out to this person and tell them how much I feel relaxed watching them and how much I love the recipes. Now, that said, there is one little caveat that I do notice that this person does do some dirty keto. And if you're fine with dirty keto, meaning once in a while there's some grains in there or whatever, but I would say 90% is actually true clean keto. You can just look for yourself and decide what's right for you. But once in a while, I'll see that there'll be like a little bit of something in there. And let's put it this way, it's good for the keto macros, but there might be some grainy ingredients once in a while, but not a ton. Anyway, and they're beautiful. Like, I don't do the complicated ones. There's some, but the most of the easy ones, like the chocolate chip cookie recipe, is fantastic. I did a mousse. I can't remember everything that I've done. I've saved this person on my, YouTube favorites or whatever. And like at night before bed, after I have my little TikTok time, I will watch this before bed and watch a couple of recipes and go, oh yeah. So speaking of which, when you see stuff like that on YouTube, Pinterest, whatever, this is another thing. Save your links, right? Because it's hard to remember where you saw stuff. So just a quick little tip that I do on my phone, on my notepad, I have like a folder that I have called new keto recipes to try out. And then I will just put them in there, but I'll put a little description. Like I'll say like keto mousse or keto bread or something. And then I put the link right underneath it. And then I keep it in there. And then whenever I want to try it, I know where to go if I want to try new recipes because I've seen them, goodness knows where I've seen them, and they're all in one place. That's a little tip for you guys because sometimes it can get a little bit confusing, like where you've seen your links and things like that. But anyways, then if I try one of them and it's a total 10 out of 10 winner, I will write that out on a recipe card and I will put it with my recipes or something just to make sure that it's in my, my arsenal. Okay. The other thing to help us get excited about food again, and this is going to sound kind of weird, but track your macros. Okay. Now, this is not a lecture of any kind about like how you can do better on your keto, but when you allow yourself to just do lazy keto, which, hello, I love to, but when you're just kind of like free eating keto, right? You're just kind of eating whatever you want. You kind of take it for granted that everything is kind of like available. When you actually put yourself on a little bit of a food allowance, I call it, AKA tracking, it makes food more enticing when you have a limit and you're trying to figure out, you're doing a little bit of keto Tetris, right? You're trying to figure out how many macros and what I can get in there. And I want to have half a cup of raspberries with my yogurt for dessert. So I'm going to make sure I put that in there. And then you're kind of figuring it out. It actually makes it a little bit more fun than if you're just kind of like lazy keto free eating. I find that all the time. And I'm a little bit more apt to trying out recipes and things like that. It really is kind of like a game because you're trying to figure out your macros and, you have to actually do a little bit of planning. And it just makes it a little bit more special, especially if you you plan ahead enough, like say for your dessert. I'm really big on knowing what I call it dessert, but it's not necessarily sweet, but I like to always have something after dinner. And I don't care if it's my anti-aging shake that I have, or if it's like a little keto chocolate, or if it's an actual dessert. I don't know, but I need to have a little something after my dinner. And I'd like to plan that ahead of time so that I know that I'm going to get that in. Another thing too, if you guys have not done OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, 1 meal a day really gets you excited for dinner, and not because you're starving. Trust me, if you're fat adapted, you are not starving at all, but you get excited. My mouth is like getting excited. Like I haven't eaten today and I'm going to have my OMAD dinner, which is my leftover. We went out for dinner last night for Mother's Day and I have leftover steak and asparagus and mushrooms. Oh my goodness. And I'm already getting kind of excited for that. Typically though, when I'm doing OMAD, I wouldn't have leftovers because I want something really good. Like I'm going to look ahead and I'm going to look in my recipe book and I'm going to plan something good. My family gets excited when they know I'm doing an OMAD day because they know dinner is going to be damn good. But because my leftovers last night were so good from the restaurant, like I'm excited for that. So anyways, if you're used to eating frequently during the day, even twice a day, 3 times a day, when you switch to 1 time a day, it gets you really excited to eat. No way are you going to be like, well, I have my 1 meal and I think I'll just like look in the fridge and kind of just eat whatever. No, 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 no. You're like, okay, what am I having? What am I planning out? What am I, I think about like the day before at least. And I think, okay, tomorrow's my OMAD day. This is what I'm making for recipe. Do I have everything? Do I need to quickly stop and pick something up or, whatever? Is there anything I need to prep? Because when it's eating time and it's very exciting. Okay. So I don't know if I'm getting a little bit too excited about, but that's how I feel when I'm doing an OMAD day. So food definitely becomes more enticing when you're not eating it all day long, like, or eating 3 meals a day, you're only eating one. So yeah, something else too that also gets you kind of excited in the kitchen is trying new things. It could be a new spice that you heard about and you want to look up recipes for, whatever. For me, I decided just fairly recently, like about, I don't know, a month ago or something, to start growing sprouts again. I used to do this years ago when my kids were little. You get the glass jar and you get the sprouts. You can get all the stuff on Amazon or you can do it yourself. Literally, it's a mason jar with a nylon on it and you put an elastic you put a tablespoon of your sprouts in, like alfalfa sprouts or broccoli sprouts. You put that in first, then you put the nylon over and an elastic and you put some water and swish it around, empty out the water, and then you let it sit there on its side and you add more water every day in there and you rinse it out until, after about 5 days or whatever, all of a sudden you have this jar full of sprouts. Anyway, I started doing that about a month ago and now I've got broccoli sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, and I have 8 different other kinds of sprouts. Like I think there's a radish or whatever. I bought like a variety pack on Amazon and I'm trying out the different ones. And that has gotten me really excited for salads again. And because I was just kind of like, it's the same old, same old. Now I'm growing it myself, which is making it more exciting. I'm trying different things. I'm watching it grow. I'm tending to it, my little indoor kitchen garden. And truthfully, it has totally like spruced up my salads. Big time. And even if I'm in a super hurry or whatever, I can just like take out some sprouts and mix a couple little things with it and boom. Yeah. Who just said that they're growing sprouts too? Kathy. Kathy, I just started growing sprouts. Yeah. Oh, that's good for you. And I know, okay, where am I? I know that there's somebody else in here who did too. Christina. Christina is also growing sprouts. It was just something like I just started doing it. And then I looked up the macros and it's literally 0 to none almost macros, calories. I mean, I don't count it. I don't count it at all. It is so minuscule. It's like not even worth doing anything with. So as far as I'm concerned, it's like a freebie. I've actually taken like a handful of sprouts and like a little piece of cheese and a little piece of salami, and I've just kind of rolled it up and there you go. But anyways, that's kind of got me a little bit more excited in the kitchen because it's something that I'm actually growing myself. It's so easy, you guys. Honest to goodness, you do not need to buy this in the store. And it's actually really fun to keep up with this. Like it's really fun. I've got like 3 going at the same time now. I do one and I wait 3 days and then I get the next one started and I wait 3 days and then I get the next one started. And then by the time the last one is starting, the first one is ready. And then I'm just going, so I always have fresh all the time. Those things, I mean, like in Canada, one little thing is like $4 or $5 or something like that. So cheap to buy those seeds and do it yourself. Anyways, so that's kind of gotten me excited for some new things. But I'd be curious what you guys do, like if you're finding that you're kind of bored, you get tired of the same old things, what kind of things do you guys do? Let me know. I would love to hear what kind of things you guys do so we can all share. I just find that if you're getting kind of bored like that, it's really nice to just kind of be proactive and to kind of come up with something that is going to get you kind of excited, because there is nothing worse than being bored with food, honestly. And that's usually what I will say kind of tempts me to veer off, is when I feel really just not, excited about the food. And so you eat something and you go, well, that was kind of boring. So now what? Ooh, there's some chips or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like I feel like I go off a lot more when I haven't had a wonderful, succulent, delicious, flavorful dinner. Then I feel like a lot easier to kind of go off. My sister says, I like to do an ethnic meal. Tonight I'm doing Chinese food with bean sprouts for chow mein. Awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, you're going to have to post something in the group, or at least give us the gist of how you're doing it, because it would sure be nice to know how to do something instead of chow mein. I know you probably could also add like shirataki noodles. If you get those really fine shirataki noodles, you could probably mix that in with the sprouts or whatever. But I'd be curious to know what you do for the sauce. Because yeah, Chinese food, yeah, you kind of miss that on keto. It's harder to do Chinese food. So yeah, ethnic meals, that's a really good idea. If there's a certain type of genre of eating that you really like you love Italian or Mediterranean food or something like that, and finding some recipes that you could really get excited about. It's funny because I say in my mind, like I say often actually, that I like easy and I like healthy. And I will always say that. But like when I'm thinking about recipes, I think, I don't want to do complicated stuff or whatever. But when you actually read through the recipes, generally speaking, they're not that complicated. But I put it in my mind like they are. But when I actually dissect it and read through it and how to do it or whatever, it's usually pretty good. So instead of winging it, actually following a recipe really helps. Celery salt tastes like Chinese food. Ooh, celery salt. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to hearing about that meal, Laura. Yeah, so what else? Anybody else have any good ideas? Gotta go to work. Okay, I love proper cookbooks and sticky page markers. Yep, yep. Same meals a lot of the time. Okay, well, that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you're not getting bored with it, then that's really good. I just find for me that when I don't try to think of something specific, I sort of gravitate towards the salad with chicken. I just use that as an example because I have that a lot, and then sometimes that does get a little bit boring, and I just want something different. So that's where these ideas come in. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you guys are kind of feeling like me, kind of feeling like a little bored once in a while. I'm kind of back on the recipe book thing, and I have my whole list on my phone of all these recipes that I have been wanting to try. So slowly but surely, I am doing it. So in between my fasting times and my OMAD and stuff, anytime I'm doing a full meal, I am starting to try new things and seeing what works out. They don't all work out. That's true. They don't all work out, but at least it's something different and it's something fun to try. So anyways, you guys, that's my message for tonight. I hope that helps, and we can definitely discuss this more in the group. And I hope you guys have a super evening. Take care. Bye. Hey guys, before you go, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified every time we have a new video posted. Also, down in the description, I will have links to everything that we talked about in our chat today, including information on how you can join my Intentionally Bare Keto support group. See you next time.